Hello all. Today's class we are going to discuss about what is convergent thinking, or else we can be called as convergence stage. So this step of the design thinking process aims to create affinity clusters from ideas, connect the ideas and come up with the most potential idea that will solve the problem. Once the final idea is arrived at, depending upon the nature of solution, it could be prototyped and tested with a right audience test. So the first step here is to create affinity groups of all ideas generated during your divergence stage. So please remember that all ideas have originated from groups and not individual members, so that the participating members are requested not to attach to their ideas at the cost of larger perspective. So the first step, clarify all the ideas into quick in terms of implementation time, bold in terms of approach, and long lasting in terms of target user group. So each team member should apply the 10 gram, 100 gram, 1000 gram tool on each idea. This is to be done by all the team members. Once graded using this tool, added it up all and identify the areas that has been scored most. So what are the phases in this process? So this is the step 4 in 5 step of a design thinking process. So as the name suggests, so it is focused on converging one central idea that most potential in offering a solution of the identified problem. So what are the guidelines for this convergence stage? So the ideas are group and not the individuals. Connect similar ideas and multi-vote using 100 gram, 10 gram, 100 gram and 1000 gram. Connect multiple ideas, moves from idea to the solution. Then the solution, selected solution should be prototyped, and if the solution not give you a wow feeling, repeat from step 2. So you have some questions regarding this convergence study. How did you converge on certain ideas? So what was the criterion to reject some ideas? Was any conflict in narrowed down on ideas? So based upon this, we will see what is that 10 gram, 100 gram and 1000 gram. So 10 gram, 100 gram, 1000 gram is a quantization tool used in the convergence phase of your design thinking process. So what is the purpose of using this 10 gram, 100 gram and 1000 gram? When execute these ideas, students need to decide between more and doing things well, because doing things well takes time and resources are rarely inflict. So when there are several ideas, a question that may occur would be how to identify the ideas that could be prioritized. So this is an important question because prioritization usually defines a difference between success and failure in any project. So although there is not always an easy answer, so let's delve a little deeper into topic of prioritization. So the effective prioritization can help to increase the productivity, make more educated decisions, make sure students are working towards a desired outcome. So when prioritizing students, most often use the linear scale to rate each item. So the common scales are used 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. Using linear scale, it is difficult to tell the difference between 3 and 4 or 6 and 7. So what would be makes if one was score 7 instead of 6? So when faced with such dilemma, a random score is given and this could be skewed into outcome of the exercise. So hence, in order to overcome this confusion, an exponential scale is used. 10 gram, 100 gram and 1000 gram tool helps identify the best idea, which is 10 times more effective than the second best idea, that is 100 gram, and 100 times more effective than the third best idea, that is 10 gram. In other words, the tool will help the students to identify the brightest diamonds in a rough. So this prioritization tool that uses an exponential scale to evaluate a range of items and rank them in order to impact the preferences. So they may have some common guidelines. The students come prepared with ideas. So prioritization is the only value as the idea students bring to the table. So it is necessary to make sure that they have strong set of ideas to prioritize. Set up the activity. On the whiteboard, large sticky pad or virtual board, students should draw columns for 10 gram, 100 gram and 1000 gram ideas. Evaluate your ideas. Evaluate each idea on their own and tag them with appropriate weightage tag. So encourage them to start discussing with their teammates and reposition them into the relation to each other. Then focus the decision. The students can further analyze the ideas based on the impact as quick, bold as long lasting. So you have some more questions regarding them. Did they face any conflicts while carrying out this project work? The members in team have carried varied perspectives and opinions for an idea. How do they resolve conflicts in this project? How to generally resolve these conflicts? So note, this tool can be used to identify the most confounding problem, the most damaging conflicts, the most agenda, basically the superiority from the set of choices. So the second tool in the convergent thinking is prototyping. So the phases in the process. So this prototyping is used during the convergence phase of design thinking process. What is the purpose of this tool? This tool will help the students to learn about the potential solution from conflict perspective to help to solve the disagreements, even start from conversations. So this tool helps designers to fail quickly and cheaply and manage a solution building process. So it is important to note that the prototyping comes under research and not development. So they may be using some various applications we may be using. So whenever you're using this prototyping, it is an excellent to deepen your team understanding of your product needs, to share the ideas, to get the feedback from various stakeholders. It is not meant to be perfect or to be a production vision. It needs to be done yearly and often. So the prototyping is all about building the empathy as it talks in the language of a customer. Good prototypes pursue and does not just communicate a future. For teams that work on prototyping, it can be a fun and exciting activity. So now we see the applications of prototyping. So we have the two prototyping were used, low fidelity prototyping and high fidelity prototypes. So in this low fidelity prototype, it is an approach that used early when working on solutions. So such prototypes are typically not interactive and are basic. So they are largely limited to visual representations, sketches, drawings and so on. The advantages of this prototype are quickly done and are inexpensive. So we can be easily changed. They are easy to convey ideas. One major disadvantage is that they do not elect feedback on user interaction. So whenever you can come for your high fidelity prototypes, it looks and feel closer to the imagined and end product. For example, 3D models, relative complex, they are done with few iterations. The advantages are they can get accurate insights on how they can user engage with the product or service. They are closer to the product's usability. So they can take a lot of time and money to develop, and so making charges will be expensive affair. So what is the guidelines they are using for that? So the prototyping mindset needs a small shift in philosophy from perfect to just enough and from long-term quality to temporary simulation. Disposability. Don't fall in love with prototypes. Build to learn and be squirrel. Principle of mindset. Fail fast, fail yearly and feel cheap. So now see an example of a small problem statement. We have seen this example in the divergent thinking, solving a parking issue at SRMIST. So the idea undergone parking issue gets maximum votes, that is 3020 votes. The idea is categorized as long lasting ideas, as it will be a sufficient long time to implement this idea in addition to the impact. So based upon this idea, so this is the ideas we have generally collecting from the divergent thinking. So these are the team members with your team, and based upon that we will be able to find out 10 gram, 100 gram and 1000 gram for each and every problem statement. So based upon that, which problem will which solution will have the more long lasting will be the exact solution for the particular problem. Thank you.